There comes a point in the crucible of competition where records and reputation mean nothing. The Phoenix Suns have stepped onto that stage. Welcome to the NBA Finals. They played to the best regular season record in the league, 62 wins, home court advantage throughout the playoffs. 2 nights ago in Game 1, the Suns discovered what it means to play for the championship. Angered, flustered, seemingly overwhelmed by the moment.
We're just glad Game 1 is over, and now we can get on to playing basketball.
Game 1 may be gone, but the Chicago Bulls remain, brimming with resolve, one step closer to the historic three-peat, anxious to make Phoenix face this cold reality. No team has ever lost the first 2 games at home and come back to win the NBA championship.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1993 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 2 between the Chicago Bulls and the Phoenix Suns.
America West Arena. It's been a glorious first season here for the Phoenix Suns, but there's a good chance they won't see this floor again until November if they don't win tonight. Their chances hinge on a return to form by Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson, a combined 13 for 38 from the field in Game 1, with KJ held to 2 assists and thrown completely off his game by the pestering defense of B.J. Armstrong. Hi everybody, I'm Bob Costas. Phoenix had the league's best record, but coming into the finals there was a strong consensus that Chicago still had the best team. Pending the submission of further evidence, there's little reason to doubt that's the case. The Bulls are 12-2 in the playoffs. The Suns 11-8. What's more, the Bulls are a nearly incredible 6-1 on the road in the last 3 NBA Finals. To put it bluntly, if Chicago wins tonight, it's very hard to conceive of Phoenix winning 2 of 3 in Chicago to bring the series back here. The Suns have lived on the edge throughout the postseason, already having faced 4 games in which defeat would have meant elimination. That is not technically true tonight, but it is practically true. And it is against an opponent superior to any they have met so far. One other note, we mentioned that no team has lost the first 2 games of the finals at home and come back to win the title. The fact is, no team has ever lost the first 2 games of the finals at home, period, regardless of the outcome. How then do the Suns get the win they desperately need tonight? With some thoughts on that, here's the trio who'll call the game: Marv, Mike, and Magic. Marveloso.
Thank you, Bob. And in Game 1 on Wednesday night, it appeared to be a very tight, very jittery Phoenix Suns ball club. It was a frustrating game for Charles Barkley, who missed 16 of his 25 shots from the field, and he was upset with his performance.
If you check the final 3 quarters, we thought we played really well, really aggressive, but we never really got our composure back after the first quarter. And I think that was due to over-anxious. I was rushing everything. And I have a lot of responsibility, because if I play well, these guys feed on that, and if I play bad, they feed on that too, and I did not play well in Game 1.
All right, Magic, what do the Suns have to do to turn it around here in Game 2?
Well, the Phoenix Suns must do 3 things. Now, number 1, they must play aggressive defense. Get out and touch every Chicago Bull player. Number 2, KJ must find a way to penetrate to get easy shots for Dan Marley and Danny Ainge. Now, here you're going to see 2 traps by the Chicago Bull team. Now, those lines in the middle of the lane, that's where KJ wants to get to. And that's where the Chicago Bulls don't want him to get to. Now, here's 1 trap here. They're going to turn him back, and then you're going to see the 2nd trap come and make him pass the ball. Now, the effect of this double team hurts Danny Ainge and Dan Marley. They were 1 for 5 from the 3-point line. Now, normally, they get up 10 attempts from the 3-point line. So, again, they must pressure defense. KJ must penetrate, and Danny Ainge and Dan Marley must hit the 3-point shot.
So, Magic, the pressure clearly on the Suns. Mike, what is the approach of the Bulls coming off what has to be considered a clear-cut victory in game number 1?
Some teams might come out here this evening with a sense of satisfaction that they won the first game on the road, at least have a split, and then go back home for 3 straight. Not the case with the Chicago Bulls. Coming out of practice yesterday, the emphasis was to be aggressive, win this game tonight, go back home, end it. They don't want to leave Chicago anymore. And it comes directly from their leader, Michael Jordan, who I spoke with earlier, and the decision will be in Michael's hands. Come out as a scorer or come out as a passer and get his teammates involved. He'll make that decision when the game starts. One of the other big factors in game one was the defensive play of Horace Grant against Charles Barkley. They played straight up, tried not to double team. Barkley got some looks, but not able to convert a lot of easy shots. I would expect a lot more double teaming from Chicago early because they knew that Barkley got in the lane a little bit too often, and oh yeah, the double teams will come with big people.
All right, better than 19,000, a capacity crowd here at the America West Arena. And they are getting set for the singing of our national anthem, which will be handled by Huey Lewis and the News.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the America West Arena and game number 2 of the 1993 NBA Finals between the Chicago Bulls and your Phoenix Suns. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to honor America. The Suns are pleased to present our national anthem, sung for you this evening by electro recording artist Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ram. Red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Nice job by Huey Lewis and the News, hearing it from the crowd here in Phoenix. Now let's check in with our sideline reports. Once again, we're joined by both Ahmad Rashad and Hannah Storm. First to Ahmad.
All right, Mark, before the Bulls-Knicks series, I talked about a player who had gained so much respect from his teammates. That was B.J. Armstrong, who has played so strong through every series and continues to do so here. I asked B.J. about that. He said, well, looking at the playoffs, I realized it was going to be a challenge starting with Mark Price and continuing on till now against KJ. He said, the thing that I want to do to make sure I was ready to accept that challenge. Now, as Magic Johnson says, the challenge continues for B.J. because if the Bulls are to beat Phoenix, B.J. will have to play strong against KJ. All right, Hannah?
Well, Ahmad, a lot of the Suns told me that they're much more relaxed now that game one is over with. After all, the only Sun with finals experience coming into that one was Danny Ainge. A couple of things on Ainge. He'll be wearing a homemade number 3 on his jersey in honor of his former teammate of Portland, Drazen Petrovic. Ainge is also playing with an injury. He jammed the thumb on his shooting hand in game one. It's black and blue and it's very sore, but he thinks he'll be okay shooting as long as he doesn't aggravate it again. Overall, I would say this team is focused and confident. Charles Barkley promised to me, we will win this game tonight. Mark?
Thank you, Hannah. So Charles and his Suns are seeking to tie the series at 1, while Michael Jordan and his Bulls would love to go back to Chicago up 2-0.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this? By Chrysler Plymouth, the division of the Chrysler Corporation. And by Canon. Canon cameras, so advanced, they're simple.
Another beautiful day in the Valley of the Sun. Temperature at 105 degrees at one point late this afternoon. Some encouragement to the Suns. The last three teams that lost game one at home came back and won the NBA Finals. The 91 Bulls, 88 Lakers, and the 84 Boston Celtics. Checking the starting lineups for Chicago. Michael Jordan, B.J. Armstrong open in the backcourt. Up front, Scottie Pippen coming off another outstanding game, and Horace Grant. They are on the front line. Bill Cartwright shot well again in the early going in game one. And there's the coach of the Chicago Bulls, 47-year-old Montana native Phil Jackson in his fourth season as Bulls head man. Dan Marley, Kevin Johnson in the backcourt. Suns look for Kevin Johnson to turn it around. Richard Dumas, who had a good one. Charles Barkley also looking for a bounce back in game two. And the center Mark West, who played only 14 minutes on Wednesday night. Paul Westphal, the Suns head coach, 42 years old, finally got a shot. He was tabbed as Cotton Fitzsimmons' successor for years. He was a Suns assistant for 4 years, five-time NBA All-Star. Standout career with the Suns, Celtics, Sonics, and the New York Knicks. The officials, Jake O'Donnell, Jack Madden, and Joey Crawford. And we're ready for game number 2 of this best of 7. Mark West and Bill Cartwright. The Suns control the opening tip. Kevin Johnson met at midcourt by B.J. Armstrong. Richard Dumas given the room. Barkley off the pick. Barkley from the outside is able to hit on his first attack.
Get Barkley the ball, middle of the floor, much like Chicago likes to do with Michael Jordan. The same spot he hit the big shot against San Antonio to win that series for the Phoenix Suns.
Johnson with the steal. Batted away by Jordan and scooped up by Pippen, leading to the fast break. Jordan.
Get out and pressure the Chicago Bulls.
The Bulls did an excellent job in stopping the penetration of Kevin Johnson in game 1. Horace Grant hand checking. Charles Barkley and Jake O'Donnell calls the foul on Grant.
So dangerous in the middle of the floor, Charles Barkley, because he can make a jumper from there if you back off him far enough, yet he has the potential with one dribble to get to the front of the rim, dunk the basketball, or create for his teammates.
Johnson had to change his shot as Grant came over to help out. Jordan tried to set up Grant.
KJ trying to make a little point of emphasis here, maybe an exclamation point at the end. Goes in to try and dunk it, but Grant at 6'10" bothers him.
B.J. Armstrong has come up hotly, got picked off by Mark West, who moved to center court to try and help out Kevin Johnson by setting a pick. The ball deflected out. It will be Phoenix possession.
I tell you, if BJ is hurt, that's only going to help the Phoenix Suns and KJ penetrate more.
Barkley from deep. The Suns and the Bulls are tied at 2. Oh, beautiful alley-oop for Scottie Pippen. A look-away thrown by Michael Jordan.
Not a bad look-away pass to throw it about 26 feet, put it on the money, and then it's nice to have a guy like Pippen to convert for you.
Here's Dumas. Hard driving move by Richard Dumas. The rookie from Oklahoma State did not play at all in Game 7 against Seattle. Tom Chambers started, went most of the way, but he came back strong in Game 1 of this series. Pippen lost it. Dumas with the steal. 3-on-1 for the Suns. So Phoenix with a 6-4 lead.
See, that's what I was talking about, the aggressive defense, because if the Phoenix Suns play aggressive defense, then they can get into their transition game, much like they just did there.
Jordan, looks like Michael wants to get to it early offensively. He's come out shooting.
I think he's just looking it over right now. He's got to get his stroke down, see if he's got the good touch, good feel, but at the same time, he's willing to throw a few passes here early, get his teammates involved.
Suns and Bulls tied at 6. They trap Johnson. West for Barkley. And the foul.
And more importantly, we're talking about a foul on Grant, which is 2, and they need him to play Barkley. Well, let's go back to aggressive defense by the Suns, Richard Dumas, which gets Phoenix into their style of play. The best for them, the open court. Some good interior passing by the Suns, and Grant, who already had one ticky-tack foul when he poked him in the eye early, that time trying to come over and help out on the rotation. A little late, 2 fouls on Horace Grant early in the game.
And Magic, in contrast to the way the Suns came out in game 1 on the tight side. Charles Barkley telling us after practice yesterday, he felt he was hyper, he felt the team was hyper. A different story thus far here.
Well, they're more relaxed, and also they're playing better defense.
Foul called. West came over, got a piece of it, and picked up the personal.
Now, this is a strong move by Phil Jackson to leave Horace Grant out on the floor this early with 2 personal fouls on him. No one knows the team better than the head coach who sees him every day in practice. But normally you would pull him out and substitute, so you happen to use the other 4 fouls for the rest of the game. Phil Jackson making a move of staying with him. He's got confidence in him.
Scottie Pippen only 3 for 9 from the line on Wednesday night. Gets on his first. Suns with a 9-7 advantage. Scottie Pippen 12 for 20, 27 points. A terrific all-around performance in the opening game of this series. Here's Chicago going to the trap. Marley protecting. And then fires down. Suns fortunate to come up with that loose ball, and Dumas has given Phoenix an 11-8 lead.
And you saw the long pass, something that's a trademark of the Suns team. When they're playing loosey-goosey like they like to play, you'll see a lot of long baseball passes. In fact, George Karl mentioned they're the best in the league at going over the top with long passes.
Jordan got the step. Cartwright had it knocked away, but a loose ball foul is called. That's the second on Mark West.
Well, here on the trap, you must be aggressive. You must attack when you're being trapped. And that's what the Phoenix Suns do. They are aggressive and get a dunk out of it. Anytime you trap, you must try to score against the trap.
Early departure for that man. Mark West played only 14 minutes. Hit 3 of 3 from the field the other night, but picked up the early 2, and Oliver Miller has come on and blocks Cartwright. Oliver Miller, the rookie from Arkansas, coming up with the rejection. Nice hesitation move by Kevin Johnson. So the Suns lead 13-8. Pippen right back. Yes, Scottie Pippen wasting no time getting down court. The Suns lead by 3 with 4 minutes gone by. And they have opened at a quick pace. It is Phoenix Suns pace here at the outset. Suns have made their last 5 from the field. Marley for 3. Pippen has Grant in the open floor. Yes, and it counts. So the foul is called on Kevin Johnson.
Eyes up all the time, see the floor at 6'7", Pippen can do it, and when you have a power forward who runs the way Horace Grant does, it pays off with some easy baskets in transition. And credits to Phil Jackson for leaving him on the floor, not taking him out. He knows his team better than anyone.
3-point play for Grant to tie the game at 13. This time light pressure by Chicago. Barkley was fouled.
Well, what Phoenix have done now, they move, what Chicago has done now, they move Scottie Pippen over to guard Charles Barkley and move Grant over to cover Dumas.
Number 34, Charles Barkley at the line.
And Barkley will shoot a pair. Charles has 5 points, 1 for 1 from the line, and 2 of 3 from the field.
And Magic, they opened up the game, the Grant-Barkley matchup. What did Phoenix do? Brought Barkley to the top of the circle to try and get Grant to have to guard him out in that area where he could beat him off the dribble. But as soon as Pippen went on him, they put Charles right down in the hole and posted him up. Charles bigger and stronger than Scottie Pippen.
Phoenix 15 and Chicago 13. Barkley switches off to Pippen. Now met by a double team. Grant. Well look by Scottie Pippen off the trap in the corner. And the game is tied at 15. Again, B.J. Armstrong looking to make Kevin Johnson work hard to get it across. And a foul on B.J. Will he get the call on the continuation? No, he won't.
They don't want Kevin Johnson coming back to the middle of the floor, so if he's going to get to the basket, his easiest path will be turning the corner. That time, B.J. ride him a little bit too much.
Now Barkley posting up. Charles Barkley able to hit the turnaround on Scottie Pippen. The Suns lead by 2, and Barkley off to a fast start. Joe Crawford with the whistle. And a foul against the Suns. It's on Miller. Timeout taken by the Phoenix Suns. We'll be back in a moment. Well, in game 1 on Wednesday night, B.J. Armstrong did the job against Kevin Johnson. Johnson only 4 for 13 for his 11 points. B.J. hit 3 from downtown. And B.J. and the Bulls so successful in stopping the penetration of one of the best in the business, Kevin Johnson. We talked with B.J. about that and asked what are his plans for going up against Kevin Johnson here in game 2.
Well, I think, first of all, our team, our total team made an effort to know where he's at on the floor and know where he operates and tried to get acquainted with his game, his right to left crossover, his finish with his left hand at the basket. So our team was well aware of what he likes to do. My main goal was to make him work from the time the ball was taken out of bounds to the time they set in their offense. And once he does give it up, not allow him to get the ball or make him work to get it that he's just out of sync.
Well, Bill Cartwright able to hit. And the game is tied at 17.
The little things that KJ pointed out go back to the conversation with Phil Jackson, coach of the Bulls, prior to the first game, saying that Richard Dumas hits a little 12-footer from the baseline, saying that knowing the players and the little things they like to do might be more important against Phoenix than actually the X and O part of it.
Pippen gets inside. Pippen on the follow. So both clubs are hot. Chicago 8-4-11. Phoenix 8-4-11.
Well, the first team that makes a defensive stand will take control of this game. So far, it's been back and forth offense on both ends of the court.
Game tied at 19. Here's Dumas. Back tap by Jordan. And Armstrong brings across just under 6 minutes remaining. First quarter, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, Bob Rashad, and Hannah Storm from America West Arena in Phoenix. Jordan with another opportunity. Crowd reacting. They felt that Jordan pushed Marley away as Marley went for the steal. That's a traveling violation call on Pippen.
Let's go back to the last play for Phoenix. You have the player coming over to set the screen. The defensive man, Cartwright, must stop KJ from getting to the middle of the floor. It's what Magic talked about in the beginning. They don't let him get to the lane area, but he still creates a shot for a teammate.
Chicago's 4th turnover, giving the ball back to Phoenix. Scott Williams guarding Charles Barkley. Williams coming on for the first time. Jordan for 3. Yes. Michael Jordan hitting from downtown. He now has 7 points. And Michael has just passed Magic Johnson as Barkley gets inside. Michael Jordan passing Magic for 5th place among all-time playoff scorers. He now trails Kareem, Jerry West, Larry Bird, and John Havlicek. Scott Williams rejected. And Miller comes away with it. Well, Magic, your number 6. Well, not bad.
Yeah, what can I say?
Offensive foul called that time. Chicago's defense, again, closing down the lane. Steps in, takes the foul as KJ tries to pass off. Tight defense, get in the lane, but they constantly step up the Bulls defense and pick up offensive fouls.
4.5 remaining. In this first quarter, the Bulls now lead 22-21. Bill Cartwright sitting down. Stacey King has come on. The matchup will be King and Miller. So it's King, Williams, and Pippen up front. They double up on Jordan. And the pass knocked away by Marley. So the Phoenix trap well executed. Here's Marley for 3. Jordan eluding Marley. Jordan lost it. Miller with the steal. But the ball goes back to Chicago.
Think about the things that Oliver Miller has done because of his long arms and fingertips. He's blocked the shot. He has challenged Jordan in a double team, and here he just flicks in quickly with those long arms and long fingers and forces a turnover.
Timeout called with 3:56 to go in the first. A brilliant sequence for the rookie Oliver Miller. First the block shot, his second of the quarter, 5th in the series, 52 for the entire playoffs in 20 games, and then the steal as he was able to strip Michael Jordan. You talked about the long arms. Check out the wingspan, 91 inches, which is equal to 7 foot 7 inches, about the height of Manute Bol. Wingspan roughly equivalent to your height. We guess that Manute, Sam Perkins, along with Oliver Miller, have the widest wingspans in the NBA. Would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that. And another thing with the Phoenix Suns, they've done so far one of the 3 things that they wanted to do to win this game, and that's played aggressive defense so far.
Oliver's net size only 17, though. It's all of the wingspan. Danny Ainge has come on for the first time. Bulls lead by 1. Here's Pippen on a fadeaway. Knocked away by Barkley. Marley met by Trent Tucker, who just came on. Barkley sets for the 3. And the Suns not able to hit from long range. Scott Williams had the strong game on Wednesday night. Really did the job off the board.
Scott Williams was in there for the final 12 minutes of the basketball game, and when he was on the floor, Chicago was plus 11 against Phoenix. So that means without him, they were actually down. They have a lot of confidence in Scott Williams.
Tom Chambers, who came on just a moment ago, is called for the foul, and Stacey King will go to the line. Tom Chambers did not get the playing time the other night, coming off the good one against Seattle in Game 7.
Magic, I want to go back to the last possession for Phoenix when they pulled up and Charles wound up shooting the 3-pointer. We understand that Charles is going to take his threes every so often from behind the 3-point line, but that particular time, I would say, was not the right decision. And looking over at Paul Westphal, he was not real happy with that shot selection.
Well, that's because you got your best rebounder shooting a 3-point shot, and you take your best rebounder from the basket, and nothing good can happen for you.
Oh, Marley able to get to that loose ball, but Chambers blocked by Williams. Pippen for Jordan. And Trent Tucker able to get to it. Bulls with the ball. They lead by 3. Here's King, the shot clock running down. And it's a 3-second violation called on Chicago.
Now, this is a very interesting move by Coach Paul Westphal because he really is not going with a point guard. He has Danny Ainge playing point guard, so we'll see how the offense is ran now by Danny Ainge.
And the reason for that, Trent Tucker is out there. He will put the same pressure on the ball as a B.J. Armstrong would, so he feels comfortable with Ainge in this role that he can get it up against Trent.
Foul committed by Williams. The basket will not count. Scott Williams called for his first.
Inside play, taking place, Bulls bumping all those cutters, coming to the basketball, that time a little bit too much pushing and shoving. And what Paul Westphal has done now is he's put a very big team on the floor for the Phoenix Suns. You're talking about West, Chambers, Barkley up front, and a backcourt of Ainge and Marley. He usually likes to go small. Right now he's going very big.
Not only that, he has his best shooting team on the floor at this time because both Ainge and Marley can shoot from the three-point line as well as Tom Chambers can also shoot from the outside.
John Paxson replacing Michael Jordan. Jordan with 7 points, 3 out of 6 from the field. Comes back to Barkley. Chambers. The Suns and the Bulls tied at 24. Bulls have missed their last 5 field goal attempts. They have Williams with King and Pippen up front. Tucker and Paxson at the guards. And Jake O'Donnell with the call away from the ball.
In the penalty, fouls out of the 24, Tom Chambers.
Apparently Chambers called for the foul, and it puts Phoenix over the limit.
And Chambers started to run down the floor as if the foul was going to be called against the offensive player, trying to help the officials make that call. Jake O'Donnell right after and said, no, I don't buy that routine.
So both teams over the foul limit. And Stacey King to the line. He is 3 of 3 from the foul line. 2:18 remaining. In this first quarter, the Bulls by 1. Game 3 in Chicago Sunday night. 7 o'clock starting time. In the East, right here on NBC, Game 4 at Chicago next Wednesday, June 16th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Suns do not have trouble with the pressure. Barkley being played now by Scott Williams. Barkley changed his mind. Chambers pulling his way, and a foul call. So Tom Chambers to the line. He was hit by Scott Williams.
One thing about Tom Chambers, when he decides he's going to get a shot up at the basket, he's going to get it up. You can expect him when he gets going to try and finish.
To shoot 2.
Tom Chambers in his 12th season out of Utah. Last couple of years bothered by back problems and hamstring injuries.
Leo Wilcox to the North Tom. Leo Wilcox to the North Tom.
Well, during the course of the regular season, the Suns averaged 31 free throw attempts per game. In the playoffs, 32. Game 1, only 15.
2 minutes.
In Game 7 against Seattle, Charles Barkley went to the line 22 times by himself.
And that 31 that you talked about was the second most per game in the NBA taken by a team, the Phoenix Suns.
Stacey King went short. West's pass intercepted by Pippen. Chicago looking for Trent Tucker to get into it. Stacey King. Rebound Charles Barkley. Barkley. Try to lead Johnson.
See, it's always difficult for when you're a point guard to now get out on the wing and receive the pass. Here's Charles Barkley, who normally is on the wing, and KJ, who normally handles the ball. They reverse roll, and they end up in a turnover.
Bulls have missed their last 7 from the field. We come up on 1 minute left in the quarter. They get 0 for the last 8. Although Chicago leads 26-24. Kevin Johnson being guarded by Trent Tucker. Kevin Johnson with a second field goal. And he's tied the game at 26. Pippen off the hesitation dribble. Pippen for Williams. What a play by Scottie Pippen. The Bulls lead by 2. Johnson changed his mind. Picked off by Tucker.
Well, you got a man here who was down in game 1, that being Kevin Johnson. Now he wants to do a lot of things. He wants to make something happen. And that time he wanted to make something happen, but got caught in the air.
You got three-point shooters on the wing in case they double Pippen.
Shot clock down to 4. Pippen. Final seconds of the first quarter. Haynes to the fadeaway. Yes, and it counts. Foul committed by Trent Tucker with 2 1/10 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Last thing Chicago wanted to do is give the Phoenix Suns an opportunity to finish off the quarter with a three-point play. The problem is that they had to get a shot up at the other end of the floor with what you would call a lot of time left, meaning about 8 or 9 seconds remaining on the game clock. So Phoenix was going to come down and get some kind of good shot up, providing they didn't turn it over.
Danny Ainge very quiet in game 1. Now trying to complete a three-point play. 85% free throw shooter this season. Suns by 1. Pressure on the inbounds. Final seconds of the quarter. Pippen for Tucker for 3-point. That would have counted. Charles Barkley very much into it. 4 of 6, 12 points. It's the Suns 29 and the Bulls 28.
And a storm back at America West Arena with talk show host Rush Limbaugh, a good friend of Coach Paul Westfall's. And Rush, is it true that you told me earlier tonight that this team sort of reflects your political views?
Well, sort of. This is a team of rugged individualists who play well as a team, and the key to their success tonight is for each guy doing what he does best. They're not down by 20 tonight like they were the last time. They got that first game under their belt, and I think you're going to see the real Phoenix Suns as this game goes on. Which looking good, it's a team of destiny, Hannah.
All right, thanks, Rush. Mark?
All right, Hannah, as the second quarter gets underway, Michael Jordan gives it up to B.J. Armstrong. And the Bulls now lead 30-29. Czar, can you imagine if Rush Limbaugh did play-by-play for the Phoenix Suns? That's a foul on Danny Ainge.
Paxson does a good job moving his feet, gets over in front. Very close call that time. And then after it, Danny Ainge took the basketball, tossed it away, and a delay of game warning was called against the Phoenix Suns.
You can see that Phoenix has changed their offensive strategy. They're now trying to run after-made baskets.
All right, Grant being played by Miller. Jordan. Rebounded by Miller. Frank Johnson has checked in for the first time, played well in game number 1. And Miller finishes it off. Suns by 1. 1 minute gone by in the second quarter. Can you imagine if Rush Limbaugh did play-by-play for the Suns? He'd probably suggest 5 years mandatory for traveling violations. I'll explain that later. So I'm thinking about that. Okay. And a foul is called. A loose ball foul. Jake O'Donnell, Jack Madden, Joey Crawford working the game. Oliver Miller called for the foul. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Magic with tears in his eyes as Michael Jordan passed him by earlier. You took it well, I thought.
Yeah, well, since he's a good friend of mine, I decided to go ahead and not cry too much. You know, but if it was somebody else, I probably would have been really upset.
And there's the man next in line, John Havlicek. One of the greats from the Boston Celtics.
John Havlicek up at 4 a.m. this morning, taking his first air balloon ride around the area. Got up as high as 4,000 feet, but hovered mostly in that 60 to 80-foot area off the ground. Simply sensational.
And Hondo will be one of the guests at halftime with Bob Costas on the Prudential halftime report. Armstrong on a pull-up. Oh, Grant, and he was fouled. Tom Chambers disputing the call. Frank Johnson raising his hand. And let's see who the foul was called against, as Charles Barkley is being waved in. No official word. It is Johnson. And Chambers will sit down, replaced by Barkley.
Obviously, Frank Johnson, with a reputation for being honest, he held up his hands, so the officials went along with the call.
Game is tied at 31. Michael Jordan with 9 points, and the Bulls lead by 2. Armstrong applying pressure on Johnson. Johnson played only 9 minutes in game 1, hit 4 of 7, 8 points, did a good job penetrating. Barkley stepping around Grant. 14 for Barkley, and he's tied the game at 33.
Nice job of raising up, getting Grant to commit a little bit too much, took him out of his defensive stance, and it was a matter of putting it on the floor, going around him.
Grant, Miller with the rebound. Air ball thrown up by Danny Ainge, and a foul was called.
Defensive man normally wants to be down in his stance. Charles turns and faces, gets him up in the air, and now go around and convert.
Richard Dumas called for the foul. We'll be right back.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Gatorade for that deep down body thirst. By Toyota, reminding you to always buckle up. Do it for those who love you. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Ahmad Rashad back here in American West Arena alongside Cliff Levingston, a former Chicago Bull. You were the inspirational leader on this team last year. How they got along without you?
Well, they're focused. They know what it takes to get to the championship game again, and they know what it takes to win it. And right now, they're staying focused throughout all the ups and downs of the game. I think they're going to stay right on target and win the ball game.
Cliff, as focused as they were last year, this year there seems to be a calmness about this team in these finals.
Well, they're being smart. They set everybody up to think they weren't going to be in it, but they're in it.
All right, thanks, Cliff. Good luck to you. All right, Marv.
Thank you, Ahmad. Cliff Levingston came up very strong in the playoffs the last couple of years. Michael Jordan with a sweet stroke. Cliff played in Greece this past season. Bulls lead 35-33.
And the exchange for Chicago was giving up Cliff Levingston, bringing in Rodney McCray. They lost the energy, the rebounding, the defensive play, and toughness of Levingston, hoping McCray would fill that void. He has not done it this season.
It's been a disappointing injury hit year for Rodney McCray. Hanson able to penetrate.
Well, I think right now with Phoenix, they're playing well defensively. And Coach Paul Westphal should feel good about that, but they got to get back here.
And Grant able to hammer it home. He thought he was fouled. Phil Jackson is very upset, but no call. The Bulls now lead 37-33.
See, defensively, the Phoenix Suns must get better. They must try to get a few stops. Now, Oliver Miller's been good on defense for them, but the team defense hasn't been that good.
And a blocking foul. John Paxson is called.
Dishing it off at the end, Grant with the finish. Barkley challenges, and after the basket, the entire coaching staff of the Chicago Bulls was up. They felt there should have been a foul on Barkley. Barkley with the effort. That's how you tell your big people to finish plays off. Don't put it up and lay it up. Dunk it when you can.
And Marley will inbound. A quiet first half from Marley. He is 0 for 3, scoreless. Started slowly the other night, then came on. Bad shot. Forced it, although he was double teamed.
Last touch, though, by the Bulls. And it will be Phoenix ball with a new 24.
One thing about the Chicago Bulls, if you turn in the middle, you're going to have 3 or 4 guys jumping out at you.
And that's what Barkley faced just a moment ago. Frank Johnson puts the move on B.J. Armstrong. Nice fake, but Pippen with the block, and a foul is called.
Well, a little bit disappointed. B.J. Armstrong, he went for the ball fake, got up in the air. Frankie Johnson leans in a little bit, so the block is clean, but it's the body of B.J. Armstrong where the foul is called.
Second on Armstrong, 2 apiece on B.J. Armstrong, Horace Grant, and Scott Williams. Frank Johnson to the line. Frank Johnson, 34 years old. Who played in Italy in the last 3 years after spending 7 seasons with the Washington Bullets, a year with Houston. He was a first-round draft pick of the Bullets. And has been a major contributor off the bench for the Suns, in particular in the playoffs. Bulls have a 2-point lead. Again, Jordan facing a double team as Miller comes over to help. It leaves Scott Williams open, and he takes him to the hole.
Well, right there, you saw that Charles Barkley had to make a decision. Do I run out at Scott Williams, or do I continue to guard Horace Grant up under the basket? And you can see he decided to take Horace and lay up there by Scott.
Miller. Good luck from Marley. Bulls 39. The Suns 37 with 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Grant posting Barkley. Williams. So Scott Williams getting to the offense. 6 points for Williams. The Bulls lead by 4.
The pace is still good for the Phoenix Suns. It's an up-tempo game, and they love it.
Pippen broke it up. Nobody back for the Suns. It's Jordan all the way. And a timeout taken by Paul Westphal. The Bulls by 6.
We mentioned that Phil Jackson's got a lot of confidence. Well, Williams has a wide open jumper and then says, hey, why not take a layup instead of a jumper? So he goes uncontested to the basket for the first one. The next score doesn't come quite as easy because he's got to fake first, get Barkley off his back, then convert high, dunk in the basketball. Unselfish play by the Bulls. Give it to Michael. Let him get the 2.
Now, Phoenix has been playing excellent team defense, individual defense, but not team defense. Here they're going to double team Michael Jordan, make him throw the ball. Now, when you double team, you got to get all your men rotating on the Phoenix Suns, where they don't rotate to Scott Williams, and they give up an easy layup. So you got to rotate, get good team defense. And that's what's killing the Phoenix Suns right now. Good individual defense, but poor team defense.
And the Bulls have hit their last 5 shots. They now lead by 6. Their biggest lead of the game. Kevin Johnson has returned. Marley. And Barkley. Charles Barkley has 16. The Bulls now lead by 4. Just under 6 minutes remaining. First half. Marv Albert with Lazar of the Telestrator, Mike Fratello, Irvin Magic Johnson, Bob Rashad, Hannah Storm, Bob Costas will be along at halftime.
You talk about beautiful, unselfish basketball. There's give and go. Pass, cut to the basket, get it back, and then either score or give it off to a teammate. Michael Jordan and the Bulls.
Chicago by 6. With the setup, Marley could not finish it. Jordan. The Bulls lead 47-39. Michael has hit his last 4, and he has 15 points.
Marv, the difference between the Chicago Bulls and the Phoenix Suns, Chicago Bulls make 4 or 5 passes on offense. Phoenix Suns make 1 pass and stand.
Dumas, bad shot. Marley for 3. Another opportunity and another bad shot. What a sequence for the Suns. Whoa.
Let's go back a moment ago. Michael Jordan down here had just passed the ball across the floor over to Scottie Pippen, and now he moves without the basketball. Give and go, get it back, draw the defense, make the pass, and finish off. Jordan, who moves as well as anyone in the league without the basketball, just draws all the attention and then unselfish play.
Grant fouled by Marley. Chicago has hit its last 7 shots to take an 8-point lead with 4:33 remaining first half.
Inside, Grant going up strong. Got to stop him from making easy baskets, so Marley takes the foul to prevent the score.
And Marley has been silent at the other end. He's 0 for 6. Once again, Phoenix not able to hit their staple through the regular season, not able to hit the three-pointers, and the shot selection on the threes has not been good.
What happens is when you take so many of them, you're used to getting your share each game, and then when they don't come easy, you try to force some, or when you do get a look, you try to get it up there in a hurry.
Especially on Chicago, you got to get it up in a hurry, or somebody be out there contesting.
Chicago leads by 10. Kevin Johnson beating the pressure. Marley now played by Grant. Barkley being guarded by Pippen. Single coverage, and Barkley now has 18.
Well, Danny Ainge did a smart move. Pass to Barkley, and he cut to the corner, knowing that Trent Tucker would not go down and double team Charles Barkley.
Armstrong, yes. And the Bulls have hit their last 8 shots on fire. Marley tried to split through and lost it. Team on Pippen, who gets it out. Grant off the pick. Beautifully done as they swing the ball around, looking for the open man.
That's exactly what Magic talked about. Difference, 4 or 5 passes, play unselfish, doesn't matter who scores.
Well, let me just put it bluntly here. In a running game, Phoenix is at their best. In a wide open game. But in half court, Phoenix struggle. Where now you're talking about a championship team in the Chicago Bulls. They're the best half court team in basketball.
Kevin Johnson turning it over. The ball goes back to the Bulls. Michael Jordan receiving a brief rest. Try to check in, but the substitution not allowed. Trent Tucker was heading off. So Jordan will come on next whistle. Bulls in the midst of a 10-2 run. They've hit their last 9 shots as we come up about 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Chicago with its biggest lead. Johnson with the steal, stripping Cartwright. Here's Johnson for Marley, and he's fouled by Pippen. Sarcastic reaction from the crowd on the foul call. Pippen picks up his second.
If they can just generate a little bit of easy offense, and that happens when you play good defense. KJ getting back in there, hands in on the center, now gives it up to Marley, filling the wing on the right side. Pippen just takes the foul rather than give up the layup.
This is a Phoenix Suns team that went 62-20 during the regular season, best record in the league. They've struggled in the playoffs, although they have reached the final round. Had problems with the Lakers, losing the first 2, taking the next 3 to win the series. Took San Antonio in 6, and then won a difficult 7-game series against Seattle. At home during the regular season, they won 35 and lost 6. 4 home losses, though, at the hands of Eastern clubs, and 3 of the losses after the All-Star break. Jordan on the recovery. Now, that's one you rarely see. The pass was slightly off, but he was still able to get it and was able to convert.
Well, that's why he's so great. That's why he can do things that no other player can do.
And actually, the Phoenix defensive player got a body on him. So, yes, the pass was a little bit short. Jordan couldn't extend, but Marley goes back and gets a body on him right there to prevent him from scoring. But Jordan recovers more quickly than Dan Marley.
The Bulls have hit 10 of their last 11 from the field and lead by 12.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll be joined live here in Phoenix by former Celtic great John Havlicek. There's Hondo. His Celtics were the last team to three-peat. Actually, they won 8 in a row. We'll also talk with the two guys who figure to be the top 2 picks in this month's NBA draft. This is a live shot. Chris Webber at home, not watching the game. He's playing Nintendo or some kind of video game, unconcerned at present about the Suns and the Bulls. Of course, he led the Wolverines to the NCAA final each of the past 2 seasons. Sean Bradley will also be here, the highly regarded 7'6" center from Brigham Young. There's Sean, a busy halftime in just a few minutes. But right now, let's head back to the court as we rejoin Marv, Mike, and Magic.
All right, Bob. Chris Webber putting a dent on the ratings. He does have a Nielsen Holmes on. Do you know that?
I'll give Magic first pick. What do you want?
I take Webber.
So whoever's left over, I'll take him in the second slot. Coming out of that last timeout, Ahmad overheard Phil Jackson telling the Bulls they like the tempo, they feel they're in control as Michael Jordan tips it in, and he wanted Cartwright on the floor to stabilize this team both offensively and defensively. The experienced center who will get them in their offense, allow them to run it by setting screens, and get on the glass and help on the boards.
And a foul call. That's 3 on Scott Williams. A red-hot second quarter for the Bulls, who now lead by 14.
Well, here's Michael Jordan attacking the offensive board. See, Michael can hurt you in so many different ways. You always got to know where he is on the court and put a body on him when a shot goes up.
Scott Williams sitting down. Chicago 13 for 19 from the field. Phoenix only 5 of 16. Now Barkley operating against King. Got it back to Ames. And the Suns finally hit a three-pointer. They missed their first 4. Bulls 57. The Suns 46 with 1:50 to go in this first half. Jordan chased by Chambers and Barley. They continue the double up. Shot clock at 1. King gets inside.
Again, we're talking about team defense. See, you got to get a man rotate. You can let him pass it to the outside. Never let him pass it inside for a layup.
Inside is the heart of the defense. Don't take away the heart.
Bulls with a 13-point advantage. Barkley. Charles pulling his way and then going to the left hand. Charles Barkley's had a big first half, 20 points, but not getting the support. And Chicago leads by 11. Here's Pippen. Stolen by Johnson. Rare miscue by the Bulls. Evan Johnson now guarded by Michael Jordan. Chambers to the scoop. Rebound Barkley. Oh, what a play by Charles Barkley. The Bulls by 9. 40 seconds to go in the half. 22 for Barkley. Jordan. Well, the Suns with a chance to knock that Chicago lead down further. Chicago led by as many as 14.
If you're wondering why we were talking about 4 or 5 passes for Chicago, and then suddenly Jordan shoots a quick one, he was trying for a 2-for-1. Get one up, see if it goes in. No, we'll get the last one back.
And Barkley drew the foul.
Penetration by Chambers, gets it up on the glass, and then Charles just rips it from between 2 Bulls and converts as he's falling down. And then, again, to end a quarter, an opportunity for Phoenix to wind up with a 3-point play. They did it in the first quarter. He has a chance now, Barkley, as he goes to the basket, to do it once again this quarter.
Well, see, they're doing something different here in game 2. You see Westphal going to react to this play. They're getting finally penetration. They may not be getting it from KJ, but they're getting it from other guys, Phoenix Suns.
And this the best sustained period of the half for the Suns. 7 straight points. And the Bulls now lead by 6. 10 seconds left in the half. Tucker did not want to take the shot. Gave it back to Jordan. Now Tucker for 3. Well, Phoenix able to come back down by as many as 14. They have within 6 at the half. Michael Jordan, 9 for 15. He has 19. Charles Barkley, 10 of 14, 25 points. Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report. And the guest list includes John Havlicek, Chris Webber, and Sean Bradley. A star-studded lineup. We'll be right back.
Stone, thank you. Now the always somewhat awkward transition back to basketball. One gentleman who's taken a particular interest in this final series between Phoenix and Chicago is ex-Celtic great John Havlicek. Hondo was a member of the last NBA team to three-peat back in 1966. That team, of course, featured Bill Russell, among others, and they won 8 straight NBA titles from 59 to 66. Havlicek also played on the 76 Celtic team that beat the Suns in the finals. Hondo hit this runner at the end of the second OT in Game 5 before Gar Hurd's famous shot sent things into a third overtime, but eventually the Celtics won that ball game and the series with it, and it's not too far-fetched to say, even though you won in 6, capping it back here in Phoenix, that the momentum would have been entirely different. If they could have beaten you in Game 5 on your home floor in a game like that, they might well have won here to take their first title.
People think that if they had won that particular series, we would have lost here. I don't think that, because we were a team that had a lot of great pride. We knew that we were a better team, and we also felt that that particular game wasn't one of our best played games.
Regardless of whether it was well played technically from an X and O standpoint, have you ever been in a more exciting and exhausting game?
No, it was probably the most emotional game I'd ever been in, because it went 3 overtimes, and I can recall JoJo White sitting at half court during one of the overtimes. He played, I believe, 63 minutes. I played 58, and it was one of those games where you had the highs and lows. You were euphoric one moment, and you were the depths of despair the next.
Now these Bulls are going after a three-peat. It's a different era in the NBA. It's fair to say that no team, even your Celtic team, could have won 8 straight in the modern era. But how do you compare these Bulls to the other great teams you were with or played against?
Well, the thing that I'm impressed with the Bulls is the fact that they play great defense. If you see Phoenix playing against them, they have to work for everything they get. They're picking them up all over the floor. And I know that to win championships, you have to play defense. Paul Westphal may have to change this whole lineup to get back into this series if they don't do anything tonight.
Westphal, a former teammate of yours and, of course, an opponent in that 76 final. He was a great player in those days for the Suns. Did you see him as a potential coach?
I always liked Paul Westphal as a player, and he's a very gamey individual, and he always had a lot of contests to play. So he's a thinking-type player. I thought that he could become a good coach. I didn't know if he would go into this type of as close together as possible. That's where Jerry West is. But Michael seems to be a different type of player. I've never seen anyone come to a jump shot or jump stop, split the defense. He just seems to find holes in the defense, and I've never seen anyone like him. I think he's the best.
Hondo, thanks. Great to see you. When we come back, we'll be joined by the 2 guys likely to go 1-2 in the NBA draft, Chris Webber and Sean Bradley. That's after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. Well, the NBA draft is just under 3 weeks away. June 30th is the night, and the place is the Palace of Auburn Hills. That's pretty appropriate considering that Detroit native Chris Webber is expected to be one of the top picks, if not the first pick, which of course is owned by Orlando. Also expected to go in the first few choices is Sean Bradley, the 7'6" center out of Brigham Young. Chris is going to be with us by satellite. Sean is here live in Phoenix. I can just see my mom watching this going, Bob, sit up straight. What good is it going to do? The guy is 2 feet taller than me. And then the question with you has been your weight. In the 2 years away from competitive play on the Mormon mission, how much weight have you been able to put on?
Well, when I played at BYU, I was playing about 200 pounds. Right now I weigh about 242, 245, right on this. So almost 40 pounds.
How much more would you like to pack on for the rigors of the NBA?
Well, I'm not too sure. I'd like to get with a trainer. I'm going to get with a trainer next week, and we'll decide exactly how much would be my optimum playing weight.
Bill Walton had an interesting observation, and he knows pivot play, obviously. obviously. He said he thinks it's a good thing that you were away from the game competitively for 2 years. Likens it to what David Robinson had to go through in naval service. He says it gives a kid a chance to mature, get his priorities straight other than basketball. Did it do that for you?
Absolutely. You know, the greatest thing that I did in my life so far was serve that mission and take 2 years out of basketball and devote myself to that kind of thing. I was able to figure out who I am and what I can do for the rest of my life. It also helped my metabolism slow down a little bit, so I was able to gain some weight. Hopefully now I can continue to gain a little bit more and become stronger.
Are you mean enough? It's a tough game.
I don't know. I grew up on a farm with a bunch of cattle, and they got to be the most stubborn animal in the world. But yeah, I don't play the game to lose. I want to go out there and do my best in any given situation.
We've heard a lot of talk about Golden State possibly maneuvering to move up. They've got the 3rd pick behind Orlando and Philly. Don Nelson has long coveted a center. You could be the guy. Have they contacted you?
Well, you know, many teams have been in contact with my agent and things like that. The draft is still, you know, in a couple of weeks, as we all know. I'll be excited to play wherever I can go. Of course, I do have my preferences, but you know, I'm just come back from Australia, and they said, you know, the draft is in a couple of weeks, so we'll see what happens there.
What's your preference?
Like I said, the draft is yet to happen. We'll see what happens there.
Will you work out for teams?
Excuse me?
Will you work out for teams, or do you feel your draft position is such you don't have to do that?
Well, right now, I think that for me to go and work out in the kind of shape that I am, it would not be able to show my true ability. So I'd like to take a couple weeks and hopefully get into shape and then maybe try out for some teams. We'll see what happens.
You know, consider this. If Philadelphia sitting at number 2 takes you, and if they keep Manute Bol on their roster, they'll have 15 feet of center.
That's a lot of center.
A couple of long, lean characters. Let's go to Detroit. Chris Webber is standing by. Chris, we caught a live shot of you during the first half. Looked like you were playing some sort of Nintendo game, some sort of video game, instead of watching the Suns and the Bulls. Are you into this final?
Well, I was playing a friend of mine in Sega in the Bulls Blazers, so I was having a little fun. I'm just here relaxing. I'll watch the second half and pay a lot of attention to it.
Do you expect to be a member of the Orlando Magic? Is that safe to say that that's what you're expecting?
You know, like Sean already alluded to, it's a long way before the draft, so, you know, you really don't want to get your hopes up for any team. Do I feel I should be the #1 pick? Yes, I do. I feel I'm the best player in the draft, but I think each player feels that. And with Sean and Jamal and Anthony, I think no team can make a wrong decision with the first pick, so I think all of us just have to wait and see what happens.
I understand you and Shaquille O'Neal are pretty tight. Have you spoken with him about coming to Orlando?
I talked to him lottery day and the time after that, and you know, he just congratulated me. And when I made my decision to come out, I asked him if I should come out, and he said yeah. So he just said, "I told you so," and you know, yeah, we're pretty good friends.
You may be the best player in the draft. You're used to being the best player on your team. If you go to Orlando, the spotlight won't fall first on you. Are you prepared to deal with that?
You know, players like to play, and put me in a position with 4 scrubs or 4 great players like Shaquille, I'll just want to fit in. I don't have to get the spotlight. He's a great player. He's a franchise player. Just let me come in and do some dirty work. Let me dive on the floor or something, you know, and just let me try to fit in somewhere in the NBA. I hope there's a place for me.
How tough is it to sit and wait and not know the fate at this point?
It's real tough, but then again, you can set goals and say, well, I have 25 days to work until draft day or whatever. So it gives you a good timetable. It's not that hard, but yeah, I'm really waiting for that moment.
Last question real quick. The Bulls are winning here. Are you winning the video game?
Oh, yeah, I already beat them. And Isaiah Thomas scored 35. And, my team beat Mike Jackson's team by about 50.
By
50.
All right, switch the channel over and enjoy the second half with us. Thanks, Chris.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, and our thanks to Sean Bradley as well. It's the Bulls over the Suns, 59-53, and we'll turn things over to Marv, Mike, and Magic for the call of the second half right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Coming up on 7:30 in the evening in the Valley of the Sun. Another beautiful day in Phoenix, Arizona. Marv Albert, Magic Johnson, Mike Fratello. The Bulls, led by as many as 14, look to be on the way to a blowout, but a good close by the Suns, and they have moved within 6. This after that hot shooting spurt by Chicago.
Actually, both teams are shooting the ball very well in the first half, up over 50% from the floor. Chicago with 6 more field goal attempts, and that comes because they have 4 more offensive rebounds and 2 fewer turnovers. But to me, one of the key things for Phoenix is already they have 10 points from the foul line here in the first half. They had 10 for the entire game number 1, so they're getting to the free throw line.
Well, and here are the three-pointers. You know, Phoenix is only 1 for 5, but that one three-pointer triggered a 10-2 run by the Phoenix Suns to end the the first half. And so that one three-pointer by Danny Ainge really sparked and rallied the Phoenix Suns.
Yes, Danny Ainge hitting that 3-point shot leading to the 10-2 run. A look at today's Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. The Bulls 59, the Suns 53 as we head to the second half. Welcome back to Game 2 of this best of 7 NBA Final Series. A look at the leading scorers. Michael Jordan in the first half, 9 out of 15, hit 1 from downtown. He is 19. Horace Grant with 14 points. Charles Barkley, 22 minutes, 10 out of 14, 25 points. The only Phoenix Sun in double figures.
Barkley has been so effective because of his shot selection. You know, in game number 1, he was 7 for 15 from the inside and 2 for 10 from the outside. But here already in the first half, 8 for 8 from the inside, 2 for 6 from the outside. And you can see Michael's jumpers, 11 for 28, but inside, he rarely misses.
And Barkley rebound. His 7th rebound of the game. Barkley all the way, rejected by Pippen. Tom Chambers starting the second half. Yes, and it counts.
At the other end, the defensive end for Chicago, Barkley gets past Grant, but there's the cover-up by Pippen blocking the shot. Chambers shows the ball. It's called the old up and under, and Michael coming from behind gets a piece of his head. So Chambers goes to the free throw line for a potential 3-point play.
I like how the Phoenix Suns are starting the second half because even though Barkley got his shot blocked, he was going to the basket. The same thing with Tom Chambers. At least they're taking it to the basket.
So Paul Westphal starting Tom Chambers rather than Richard Dumas. Suns with a 13-3 run that goes back to the latter stage of the second quarter. They are within 3 points. Scott Williams. Jordan trying to break it up. And it's Phoenix ball. Correction, it is Chambers starting rather than Mark West. Chambers up front along with Dumas and Barkley, Johnson and Marley at the guards. Chambers got the step. Well, the veteran providing the spark has brought the Suns within 1 point.
The reason Paul Westphal went to Tom Chambers starting the second half because he wants more offense in the game. That's the reason he started Tom Chambers.
And the Bulls have started Scott Williams, Reverend Bill Cartwright. Phoenix with a chance to take the lead. Crowd wanted a violation called on Jordan. Nice play, and Scott Williams extends. So the Bulls with a 61-58 advantage. 2 minutes gone by, third quarter. Evan Johnson for Tom Chambers. Michael Jordan knocked it away. Jordan with a show-the-ball move. Jordan on the follow, and he drew the foul. Charles Barkley, his first.
We're right here. Scottie Pippen gonna go base on this spin back to the middle. He draws Chambers, kicks it to Scott Williams for the slam dunk.
Jordan takes the basketball and decides that he is going to make some things happen for himself by putting the ball on the floor. And remember, against New York, not too many times did he get to the front of the rim. Against Phoenix, it's a little bit easier. Even though he may miss the first one, he stays with it and gets another opportunity.
Oliver Miller is back. Richard Dumas sitting down. Oliver Miller played well in the first half in a 13-minute stint. Chicago 63, Phoenix 58. Here's pressure by the Bulls. Johnson had a hold up on the dribble. Pass too strong.
They got what they wanted. Phoenix tried to attack. Chicago comes up with the turnover.
Jordan. Horace Grant with the rebound and pops it back out. Here's Jordan for three. Yes. So Michael Jordan with his second three-pointer. He has 24. The Bulls regroup, now lead by 8. The Suns had knocked it down to a 1-point Chicago lead. Johnson on the penetration. Barkley. Charles Barkley puts it back. He has 27. The Bulls by 6.
Charles Barkley is playing an MVP-type game tonight. He is really taking it aggressive to the basket when he gets it. Also, he's attacking the offensive boards. He's really making it easy for Phoenix Suns to stay in this game with his offensive play.
Kevin Johnson collects his third foul. Jordan for Grant. Williams had it knocked away. It'll be Phoenix ball. Scott Williams argues the call.
They try to drop down pass as Scotty Williams turns to make his pivot. The ball goes off. Scott goes to Phoenix.
Miller gets inside. The Bulls 66. The Suns 62. Jordan with the spin gives it back. Grant. Nice touch by Horace Grant. 16 for Horace. The Bulls lead 68-62. Phoenix Suns looking to tie the series at one apiece. Chambers not able to hit. Miller able to chase it down. Bulls want to return to Chicago up 2-0. Marley. Marley with his first field goal, a three-pointer. And it brings Phoenix within 3. They collapse on Williams. And the ball knocked out of bounds. Scott Williams looking for a foul, but no call.
And if you think about it, go back to game 1. His first three-pointer in game 1 came off of a second shot opportunity when they missed the first one, but got it back outside to him. This time, the same thing. First shot a miss, get it back, kick it across the floor to Marley. He makes the 3.
The game is getting physical now. And so watch out. There will be a lot of quick fouls. There might be a lot of people in foul trouble before this game ends.
Jordan lost it. Marley with the steal. Jordan in pursuit. Marley. The Suns within 1.
Every time it's gotten to this point, Chicago has answered with a big basket. We'll see if they can do it one more time.
Jordan, yes, and they do answer. The Bulls 70, the Suns 67. Marley played by Jordan. And Pippen has Armstrong in the clear. And we get a call, a fouls call. Barkley was cut off at center court by Scottie Pippen as Barkley was trying to race down court, and the basket will not count.
Charles Barkley gave the extra effort to try and run down what appeared to be a certain layup. To me, there's no call involved there. That had nothing to do with the outcome of that play. Should not take the basket away.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By AT&T, the official telecommunications company of the NBA. And by Merrill Lynch. For clients around the world, we make a difference. The difference is Merrill Lynch.
America West Arena is rocking. Charles Barkley in his final season with the 76ers, his 8th and final season. Last year put up these numbers, averaged 23 points a game, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. And this season, coming over to Phoenix, upping it to 25.6 per game, 12 rebounds per game. And that doesn't really tell the whole story, because in this situation, he's done it in a more meaningful campaign with the Philadelphia 76ers. He has come back today after the bad game in game one. Here's Armstrong off the turnover, goes to the pull-up. And the Bulls now lead 72-67.
Let's go back to Charles Barkley for a second. When you make a statement, you better be able to back up your statement. He said that if he was surrounded with better players, they'd have a chance to win a championship. He has backed up his statement. He's had a terrific season.
But a bad shot by Barkley. You mentioned the better shot selection by Charles. There have been a couple that have got off the mark. We just saw it a moment ago, and it leads to another Chicago field goal. B.J. Armstrong with 8 points, and he's increased that Chicago lead to 74-67. 5:40 remaining in the third quarter. Johnson off the dribble, rejected. Grant came over to help. Here's Chambers. And Jordan rebound.
See, that's what I was talking about, the half court. Here's Pippen on the layup, and the basket counts. We'll go to this with Mike first, and then I'll come back with my point.
Well, you said close down the lane when he gets there. If you've got shot blockers, what happens is it usually winds up producing easy scores. When you got numbers on the break and a shooter like B.J. Armstrong, you wind up with a lot of easy points. Down the lane, try and convert. Nope. Instead, we'll let another big guy come over. This time, Grant gets a piece of it.
See, their whole thing with KJ is they want to send him to the middle, and then they're going to converge on him, the Chicago Bulls, and try to block his shot or take a charge. Now, Phoenix, the way they got into the game, they were running, getting layups and dunk shots. Now, they're going back to that half-court game, and they're struggling, and that's why the Bulls have gotten their lead again.
Scottie Pippen, that field goal, his first points since the first quarter. And Chambers with the bad pass. The Bulls in an 8-0 run and lead 76-67.
Again, half-court offense. They're struggling in the half-court offense, but when they get the ball and get out in the open court, they're making good things happen for them. That's the Phoenix Suns.
Harley cut off the baseline. Jordan went back in that direction. He thought he was fouled, and Grant able to convert. Horace Grant has hit 7 of 8. He has 18 points, and Phoenix takes a timeout with 4:50 remaining. Third quarter. Bulls lead by 11.
Ahmad Rashad back at America West Arena. Now, if you've ever wondered what it would be like to be like Michael Jordan, well, imagine people trying to find you everywhere you go. This was yesterday. He was out trying to play golf. We obtained this footage from a local station here, and it was shot from a helicopter. They found him. I talked to Michael today. He said he was trying to play golf, trying to enjoy himself, but there was a camera in the woods and a camera up in a helicopter. Marv?
All right, Ahmad. Bulls with a 78-67 lead. 4:40 remaining in the third quarter. Barkley gets inside. The basket counts. And a blocking foul. Scott Williams called for his 4th.
Get Charles down low, close to the basket. Good things are going to happen because of his strength and power. And in fact, going back to what Ahmad had just mentioned, when Michael was playing golf yesterday, the reports came out that he was playing with Charles Barkley, when in fact, it was Quinn Buckner that was out there. So that means Quinn must look a lot like Charles from the helicopter league.
Oh, he picked up some weight, didn't he? Quinn did.
4.5 remaining. Third quarter, and the Bulls lead 78-70. So Phoenix able to put an end to that 10-0 run by Chicago. Williams fouled. by Barkley. For Barkley, his second. Similar situation to game one when Chicago led 71-68. Phoenix had made its run, and then Chicago was able to pull away. And here, Chicago had a 70-67 lead. Phoenix had come within 3, and then the Bulls go to the 10-0 run.
Because they understand the mentality of what goes on. Great teams will make runs at it. It's not going to lay down and let you beat them by 25 or 30 points. They have the ability to concentrate that much harder, execute that much better when the pressure is on, when Phoenix makes the run and cuts it down to a 3-point game.
And how about Scott Williams in his third year out of North Carolina? The script has been the same right throughout. He has come up very strong come playoff time. Did it against the Lakers 3 years ago. Did it against Portland last season. Barkley again draws the foul. Another three-point opportunity. 32 for Barkley.
As we mentioned, if he's 8 for 8 at halftime from inside, why wouldn't you just keep giving it to him down there until they do something to stop him? Man is just too tough one-on-one in the paint area.
He's getting great position, though, and he's getting the ball just where he needed. His outstretched hand, he don't have to dribble, he just takes it up and power it.
He's 6 of 7 from the line, 13 of 19 from the field, 33 for Barkley. Grant was called for that foul, his third. 6-point Chicago lead. Frank Johnson now pressing Scottie Pippen. And Johnson is matched with Pippen. Pippen goes right at him. Frank Johnson about 6'1" against the 6'7" Scottie Pippen.
It doesn't take him a whole lot of time to recognize where the mismatch is, does it?
Well, that's the difference between the two teams. They recognize the mismatch, that being the Chicago Bulls.
Chambers blocked from behind by Jordan. Bulls have hit 6 of the last 7. Pass. Jordan for Grant. The Bulls by 10.
The big man running the floor, finds the painted area and just waits for Michael Jordan to deliver it. Michael with eyes all over the place, sees the entire floor.
We're approaching 3 minutes left in the third. Marley for 3, yes. Well, Dan Marley hit only one of his first 5. And he's hit his last 2 from 3-point range. 10 points for Marley, who was scoreless at halftime. Bulls by 7. Jordan to the reverse and slapped home. Will it count? No. It is called offensive interference.
Michael just tries to get it up on the glass, hoping something good will happen. Grant comes from the offside to follow up, but the ball is in the cylinder. Therefore, the basket is taken away. Good call.
Danny Ainge with a good-looking drive to bring Phoenix within 5. 2.5 left in the third. Pippen. Crowd wanted to travel. Jordan. He's been off. Frank Johnson draws the reach in. Frank Johnson again has come on and done a nice job because Kevin Johnson once again has been ineffective.
Well, the last 2 baskets have been through penetration. That time you got Danny Ainge going in for a layup, and the one before that, Frank Johnson penetrated, kicked it out to Dan Marley for the 3. So penetration is paying off for the Phoenix Suns.
Johnson, yes. The Bulls by 3.
Now you see Phoenix picking apart the Bulls defense the way Chicago had been picking their defense apart.
The steal by Marley. Johnson with Barkley. Barkley puts Phoenix within 1. Phil Jackson wants to talk it over. The Suns with 9 unanswered points. They've hit their last 6 shots, and they've cut into that Chicago lead. It is now the Bulls by 1.
Johnson sees Barkley trailing and gets it to the big man for the slam dunk.
And Michael Jordan only 2 of 8 from the field in this third quarter. A reminder, we'll be with you on Sunday night from Chicago Stadium for Game 3 of this best of 7. Broadcast time at 7 p.m. in the East. That'll be 4 p.m. Pacific. Game 3 in Chicago on Sunday. Game 4 next Wednesday at Chicago. A minute 45 remaining third quarter. The Bulls at 1 point in the first half, led by as many as 14. Phoenix closing in the second quarter with that 10-2 run. Bulls able to extend the lead here in the third, and again, the Suns have managed to come back.
Magic, is this a tough call right now? You've got your point guard, Kevin Johnson, who's on the bench. The team is making the run without him. How long do you leave him there before all of a sudden you're concerned about, have we hurt somebody's feelings, and is he going to have his head down because he's not in the game?
You can't worry about feelings. You can't worry about anything. The team is playing better with him being on the bench. You got to leave Frank Johnson out there because this crowd is into it. The momentum is in Phoenix Suns' hand right now. So, hey, forget feelings. We got to win this game. That's what Paul Westphal is saying.
The Bulls 83. The Suns 82. Jordan. So Michael Jordan to the floater. They give Chicago a 3-point lead. Michael has 28.
And the biggest difference in the third quarter is that Charles Barkley is 4 for 6, and Michael Jordan is now 3. Same exact play this time. Johnson misses the shot.
Ainge comes up hobbling off that steal attempt. Marley to the rebound. Just under 1 minute remaining in this third quarter. Phoenix with the ball trailing by 3. The last time they led was back in the first quarter by the score of 19-17. Barkley works off a double team. Barkley, oh look out, he landed hard. Charles Barkley going for the rebound, shake it up, but will hang in. Looks like he hurt his right elbow. It will be Chicago ball.
First thing he does is bust through a double team to give himself some space to get a shot off. An incredible effort. And then Barkley going after it, his legs go out from under him, and he hits hard to the floor.
Well, I think his teammate right here, see, Frank Johnson is up under him, so he had nowhere to come down, and that's why he hit the floor hard.
Barkley wants to stay in. He is hurting. The reverse. Michael Jordan has 30. The Bulls now lead 87-82.
The right arm of Charles Barkley is bothering him. He came down hard from a ways up. That's a big man landing on that forearm elbow area, and he's still trying to shake it off.
15 seconds left in the third. Chambers. Tom Chambers sweeping from left to right to cut it to 3. We're down to 5 seconds in the quarter. Here's Pippen. And again offensive interference called on the Bulls. And words between Frank Johnson, Scott Williams, B.J. Armstrong all involved. Michael Jordan trying to calm his teammates down. And the officials also looking to settle things down.
Well, Frank Johnson is saying, hey, I apologize on Wednesday. I'm not apologizing tonight. And what happened was they all fell on the ground right here. And then at the end of it, I think it was a little pushing and shoving. And then Michael Jordan tried to calm everybody down. Frank Johnson was still upset. So I think everything is clear now. Jake O'Donnell will settle everybody down and get back to playing basketball.
Oliver Miller pegs it in. Here's Barkley firing. It was Frank Johnson tearing the jersey of Scottie Pippen in a collision. And you took exception when Frank apologized to Scottie Pippen, but no apologies right here. After 3, it's the Bulls 87 and the Suns 84. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Magic, a moment ago, you mentioned the incident that took place in Game 1 on Wednesday, the incident between Scottie Pippen and Frank Johnson.
Well, what happened was he tore his jersey, grabbed him, and then he came up and apologized to him after it happened in Game 1. Well, tonight, you got in another little skirmish here with Michael Jordan this time, and Frank Johnson said he's not apologizing for anything. As you see, he kicked Michael Jordan, then he went after all the Bulls standing there. And that's what you have to do in the playoffs. Don't apologize for nothing. You're here to try to win a championship.
Frank Johnson played well in the third quarter, but he'll sit down. Kevin Johnson has come on as this fourth quarter gets underway. The Bulls lead by 3. Ainge being guarded now by Paxson. Marley from 3. Yes! And the game is tied at 87. Dan Marley has hit his third from downtown. He's hit his last 3. A double up on Jordan. Stacey King fires to B.J. Armstrong. And Horace Grant posting up on Charles Barkley. The Bulls lead 89-87.
Scoop Rashad came out of that last timeout and said that Phil Jackson told his team 5 times Phoenix has come at us tonight. They're going to come at us one more time. We've got to hold them off and make a push.
And Charles Barkley has tied the game at 89. He has 37 points. Obviously bothered by that right elbow. He landed on it late in the third quarter, but Charles is hanging in. Here's Jordan. Miller with the rebound. At one point of the first half, Chicago led by as many as 14. Barkley all the way. Phoenix with the lead for the first time since the first quarter. Suns 91, the Bulls 89. B.J. Armstrong dumps it off. Horace Grant rejected, but hits on the recovery, and the game is tied at 91.
Sometimes as a player and a superstar, you got to take the team and put them on their back, much like Charles Barkley is doing right now for the Phoenix Suns.
Illegal defense.
Into that right elbow when he fell to the floor just a few moments ago. During the timeout, he was treated by trainer Joe Prosky. They iced the elbow, they put cold spray on it, and they will continue to ice it during the timeouts. But Charles determined to stay in and win this game, Mark.
Thank you, Hannah. Game tied at 91, 2 minutes gone by in the fourth. Miller rejected by King. Barkley. Jordan able to move across. Armstrong for 3. Knocked away by Johnson. It'll be Chicago ball, but a timeout taken by the Suns. 9:38 left in the game. They're tied at 91. Nice move by the Gorilla here at the America West Arena. A new era began for the Phoenix Suns back in early November when this arena opened. Capacity 19,023. Michael Jordan getting a rest. It will be brief, sitting down with 30 points. Charles Barkley leading the Suns with 39. The Suns and the Bulls tied at 91. 9.5 remaining in the fourth quarter.
In that last timeout, Chicago most concerned about rebounding the basketball. They're standing and watching, not going after it. Phoenix has become the aggressor.
Stacey King could not hit. Rebounded by Dan Marley. Kevin Johnson. He was hit before the shot attempt. Chicago Bulls going with a front line of King, Grant, and Pippen. Bill Cartwright has not played at all in the second half. Bill Cartwright, 13 minutes, 1 for 3 from the field in the first half after a solid first game. Phil Jackson likes the matchup. Stacey King against the quicker Oliver Miller. Barkley off the dribble.
Because of the size of Horace Grant, he could not get a real good, clean look as he tried to shoot that one on the move.
Armstrong sets up Paxson. Pippen checking the 24. 5 remaining. Paxson. John Paxson line drives it home for his first field goal.
See, that's what the Chicago Bulls are going to have to do. They got to go through Scottie Pippen to try to penetrate, make something happen either for himself or for a teammate, just like he just did there.
Bulls by 2. Shot clock at 6. Ainge comes back to Ainge. Yes. Danny Ainge has tied the game at 93. Ainge with 10 points. Paxson for 3. John Paxson, a notorious street shooter, given the room, and he took advantage.
And he's not running real well. That leg is bothering him. It bothered him when he came out earlier in the game, and you can see him struggling as he tried to get back, but it didn't affect his shot.
Strong move to the hook by Miller. Bulls by 1. 7:35 remaining. Fourth quarter. Chicago trying to make it 2-0 in this best of 7. Marley breaking up the pass, while Phoenix hoping to tie this series at 1.
Floating to that familiar spot opposite the foul line area. Paxson's made so many big baskets during his career, and there's the guy that replaced him as a starter, BJ, passing over to Paxson in the corner for the jumper.
Scott Williams is back replacing Horace Grant. Paxson. Shot clock at 4. Miller with the block. Miller behind the back. Miller try to go all the way. Ainge to the fadeaway. Miller gets it out. Marley passed on the 3. Marley to the basket. And last touched by Miller.
There was a great example of Chicago's defense closing out, meaning running at that three-point line and forcing Marley to put it on the floor and come inside it. Once he came inside it, he couldn't get a clean route to the basket.
Timeout is called with 6:59 remaining in the game.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
And this Miller moment takes us back to the 1981 finals. It was Larry Bird in only his second season leading the way as the Boston Celtics defeated the Houston Rockets in 6 games for Bird, his first NBA championship. And at the time, 14th overall for the storied Celtic franchise. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. It is Chicago ball as we resume. They lead 96-95, just under 7 minutes remaining of the game. Michael Jordan has returned. Michael has 32 points.
See, Marv, the problem was Michael goes out of the game, the score is tied, he comes back, and the Suns are still down 1. Instead of gaining ground, they basically lost ground when Michael goes out. Here comes a steal there.
Michael Jordan, NBA steals leader. Coming up with that bet. And again, the Bulls swing it effectively. 3-point Chicago lead. They've led most of the way. They've led by as many as 14. Barkley drew the foul off the fake.
Let's go back to a moment ago. Magic was talking about when Michael Jordan steps back on the floor, you have to pay special attention. He has the mentality of taking the ball to the basket and then so good finishing with either right or left.
Number 24, Tom Chambers returns to the Suns.
Tom Chambers returning. replacing Oliver Miller. Miller with 3 blocked shots, 8 points. Phoenix with 11 blocks, 5 by Dan Marley. Barkley is 7 of 8 from the line. He had a good year at the line, 76%, his best ever in the NBA. Here comes Horace Grant, replacing Stacey King.
You talk about block shots as another defensive weapon. In game 1, Phoenix had 10 blocks. Chicago ended up with 8. Right now, Phoenix with 11, Chicago with 6. During the regular season, both these teams averaged about 5 block shots a basketball game. So you do a little bit more when that adrenaline's flowing in the big game like this.
The Bulls 98, the Suns 96. Michael Jordan, he's getting good looks.
Oh yeah, see, Phil Jackson knew that was the right time to rest Michael. Now bring him back with 6 minutes to go and have him take over the game.
Johnson and Williams rebounds. The Bulls with the ball and a 4-point lead. Jordan, rebounded by Chambers. Phoenix on the run. Barkley from Johnson, he came up short. He's claiming that he was fouled, pleading his case to Jack Madden. Pippen passed on the shot. And Jake O'Donnell blows the whistle.
Let's go back to what Charles Barkley is complaining about right now as he tries to finish off the play. The hand in the face is what Charles is claiming took place. He wants to know why no foul is called. Barkley on the drive, the swipe attempt by Jordan. Charles saying, hey, I should be shooting a couple free throws, but no sympathy.
And a foul called on Tom Chambers, giving Chicago a new 24. Armstrong can't find the shot, picked up on the switch by Barkley. Shot clock at 6. And a violation is called on Pippen.
Now, after Michael Jordan hit Barkley in the face, he came up to Barkley on the other end and say, are you all right? So I guess Michael did foul him.
Scottie Pippen with his 6th turnover. Suns have gone cold. They've hit only 2 of their last 11 shots. 4:40 remaining of the game. Chicago leads by 4. Ainge for 3. Barkley missed the tip. And Armstrong gets to it.
You see gang rebounding by Chicago. Everybody tries to help out.
And Jordan able to finish it off. And the foul. Beautiful fast break executed. The foul was called on Kevin Johnson.
Now the key to this fast break is B.J. Armstrong, because watch him look off the man who was guarding Michael Jordan, and he looked him off and then came right back to him. Beautiful move by B.J. to set up Michael Jordan. And the difference in this game right now is going to come down to half-court execution, and we know already who is the better half-court team, which is the Chicago Bulls. So Phoenix is going to have to execute here in that half-court if they're going to win this game.
And Frank Johnson has come on for Kevin Johnson. Frank Johnson played well earlier. Kevin Johnson again has been ineffective. Frank Johnson, though, called for the travel. B.J. Armstrong in game 1, 16 points. Kevin Johnson had 11. And tonight, B.J.'s hit a couple of big buckets here in the 4th quarter, but Kevin Johnson just has not done it.
And Marv, he's upset too. Kevin Johnson is upset that he's not in this game, especially at winning time. This is winning time. He used to be an all-star, a veteran, so you know he's not happy.
Pippen for Williams, and he's fouled. Hard foul given by Barkley. Yes, you have the idea that Paul Westphal wanted to pull Kevin Johnson, use the excuse of the 4th foul to get him out of there, but as you say, Kevin is not happy about it.
No question about it. It's going to be, if Phoenix does not win this game, something is going to come about with this decision here. So hopefully they can rally together and won't have a problem. But we got a lot of basketball to play. They're only down 6, that being the Phoenix Suns, so there's still much in this game.
Scott Williams, 1 for 3 from the line. And the Bulls having the difficulties at the line, but a key rebound by Horace Grant.
Here's the mismatch. Frankie Johnson trying to guard Pippen at almost an illegal.
Also, a new 24 presented to the Bulls. Oliver Miller returns, and Charles Barkley will sit down. I would think this will be a brief rest. Barkley departing with 40 points, 13 rebounds. Bulls with the ball and a 6-point lead. Ainge now guarding Pippen. Here's Grant. Last touch by Chicago. Phoenix requesting a 20-second timeout with 3:14 remaining in this fourth quarter. And the Bulls up 102-96. A reminder tonight, following your late local news, don't miss the Tonight Show with Jay Leno as singer Johnny Mathis joins Jay, and then late night with David Letterman, his guest lineup including Billy Crystal, followed by a full slate of videos on Friday Night Videos. All tonight right here on NBC. And on the West Coast, NBA Stories, hosted by Bob Costas, following the Bulls and the Suns. Charles Barkley back on the floor. This series may be coming down to these moments. Chicago trying to go 2-0 with the scene shifting back to Chicago for Game 3 on Sunday. And the Suns trying to tie it and one apiece. Suns have missed their last 6 shots. Chambers. And it will be Phoenix ball, and Tom Chambers upset. He wanted a goaltend.
It wasn't even close. What happened was Scott Williams saw that he couldn't get the rebound, so he just knocked it out of bounds. Here it is right here. See, he's just going to knock it out of bounds after it came off the rim.
Timeout is being taken with 2 minutes and 57 seconds remaining of the game.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Schick Tracer, it traces every curve on your face. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
Back in Phoenix, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, 2:57 remaining of the game. The Bulls 102 and the Suns 96. Kevin Johnson remaining on the bench, with Paul Westphal opting for the veteran Frank Johnson.
The only way you can look at this is you can't make it a personal thing. It's the team trying to win. Coaches are forced into making difficult decisions. You got to go with what's working for you. And the best thing that KJ can do is understand this, accept it, do everything possible to get this team back in the series.
Ainge on the recovery. Barkley. So Charles will go to the line. Scottie Pippen called for his 4th.
Understanding that he has to get to the free throw line and stop the clock. Barkley with the ball fake. Pippen smart enough to realize I cannot let him get the shot off, so he smothers him, forces Charles to the ground.
Well, Phoenix is still doing an excellent job on the offensive board. Right now, that gave them their 15th, I think, offensive rebound. And you need offensive rebounds when you're not shooting the ball well.
Barkley is 9 for 11 from the line. Foul situation, 4-piece on Pippen. And Williams, 4-piece on Chambers and Kevin Johnson. Bulls 102. The Suns 98. 2 minutes 40 seconds remaining fourth quarter. matchup is Ainge on Pippen. Jordan to the fadeaway. Michael Jordan with another big shot. He has 38 points.
But Mom, I can't believe his elevation is still that high at this point in the game. The man should be tired, but he elevated even higher to get that shot off.
6-point Chicago lead. Here's Marley. Way off.
Magic, in New York, they checked him for the entire game in one of those Knicks games, and on an average, he elevated 30.5 inches on each jump shot that he took. To do it at the end of a game like that, very difficult.
Unbelievable. Suns have missed their last 9 shot attempts. Shot clock down to 3. And a push called on Johnson.
He gets to the spot, Michael Jordan, where he knows he wants to go up. Then he gets a little fade, but the extra lift in his legs to give him the clean look at the rim. You know it's going in from the time it leaves his hands, just by the way he used his legs.
Non-shooting foul, 4th team foul on the Suns. Bulls have 3. Kevin Johnson has returned. The series of fakes, Michael Jordan makes it 40 points, and the Bulls with a 106-98 lead.
It's a triangle offense, all right, but the triangle is smart enough to get the ball to Michael Jordan in a one-on-one isolation. The other 4 red shirts on the other side of the floor watching Michael.
A minute 33 to go. Suns down to their final timeout. 1 remaining. The home crowd trying to urge the Suns on. They are down 106-98. Timeouts remaining. Bulls have 1 foul to give. Next foul by Phoenix puts them over the limit. Ainge for 3. Yes. Bulls 106. The Suns 101.
That was a tough 3 because
7 on the 24. Jordan. Chambers with the rebound. Michaels had a hot hand. In the 4th quarter, he'd hit 5 of 7 for that miss. Ainge around Pippen. What a move by Danny Ainge. 5 straight points by Ainge, and he's brought the Suns within 3.
Well, Phil Jackson just said, look at the clock, and let's slow this game down. He told his players, use the clock more.
Shot clock at 10. 42 seconds to go in the 4th. Pippen. Rebound, Chambers.
Chicago has a foul to give. They better keep that in mind now and use it wisely.
Oh, Kevin Johnson fortunate that Armstrong was called for that foul because Kevin lost the dribble off his foot.
One of the reasons they went out and got this guy from Portland is because he has the ability to make big shots. He's been in a lot of big critical situations, big basketball games. First the outside, then the inside for Danny Ainge.
Now right here, it's important for Chicago to make Phoenix use some of the clock. Good clock by Pippen.
Knocked away by Pippen. We're down to 20 seconds. Chicago with the ball and a 3-point lead. And the foul given by Kevin Johnson.
I'm not sure that with this much time remaining on the 24-second clock and in the game that you've got to take a quick pass and try to get it up. You got 27 remaining in the game, 18 on the shot clock. Get a good high percentage shot.
Well, I think when you live by the jump shot, you die by the jump shot, and that's what's going to happen right here.
Scottie Pippen was 3 of 9 from the line in game 1. Tonight, 3 of 4. And the Bulls now lead 107 to 103. 17 and 4/10 seconds remaining.
I think if Phoenix loses this game, they're going to look back at when it was 9:38. The score was tied 91-91. Jordan went out. When he returned with 6:59, they were up 96-95. And now Michael has scored, 6 points since he returned and got them this lead.
timeout called. We'll be right back.
On the handoff from KJ to Ainge, Pippen slides underneath it, and he has so much range that he is able to go underneath the guy that handed off KJ, still elevate and get a piece of that three-point attempt by Danny Ainge. In my opinion, an ill-advised shot at that time.
Scottie Pippen has not had big numbers offensively for 11 rebounds. Here's Ainge going right to the hoop. Bulls did not want a foul. 108, 105, down to 10 seconds, and the foul is given. With 9 and 8/10 seconds remaining in the game, Michael Jordan will head to the line. Frank Johnson called for that foul. Jordan is 2 of 3 from the line, and 84% free throw shooter.
And in the playoffs, an 85% free throw shooter. So very consistent from regular season throughout the playoffs.
Michael Jordan on the line, 1 plus the penalty for 2 shots.
9 and 8/10 seconds to go. And the Bulls with a 109-105 lead.
42, Scott Williams.
And to make matters worse for Phoenix, looking ahead, the Bulls have won 8 straight playoff games in Chicago. Game 3 in Chicago Sunday night will be on hand starting 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
The Suns must play better team defense if they're going to win a game in Chicago.
It's a 5-point Chicago lead. Marley looking for the 3. Marley fires. Time running out on the Phoenix Suns. Foul is given with 1 and 4/10 seconds to go. Kevin Johnson picks up the foul. The Phoenix Suns are about to become the first team in the history of the NBA Finals to lose games 1 and 2 at home.
But Mark, with this road victory, think about this. In the finals, Chicago will be 7-1 in road games. That's incredible.
Well, I know about that. They beat us 3 times in the Forum when we played them in the championship. This team is focused. The Chicago Bulls want to make history 3 in a row. And they're focused, and they're doing it with aggressive defense and execution on offense.
So the Bulls make it 2-0 and will count to 3-pointer. The basket counts. So the final score, as Danny Ainge converts again from downtown, the Bulls 111, the Suns 108. Charles Barkley 42 points, 13 rebounds. Michael Jordan 42 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists, just shy of a triple-double. And Michael is alongside Ahmad Rashad. Here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Michael, you guys, just like defending champions, when the pressure was on you, you still were able to maintain your poise and still execute.
Well, our experience once again paid off for us down the stretch. I mean, you're talking about a team who's been in this situation before, and they made a great push at us down the stretch, and we just went through our basic offense and executed down the stretch.
Now, consciously, did you come in to take over the game just in the last part of the fourth quarter? When the score was tied 91 apiece, you come in, you guys shut the door on them.
Well, I've been in this position before, and my team puts a lot of confidence in me. I got that extra rest in the fourth quarter so that I could come out and make an effort on the offensive end, and I think it was a good team effort from everybody, rebounding-wise and defensively.
All right, congratulations to you. Good luck to you in the next game.
Thanks.
All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Ahmad. A look at the scoring rundown. The key men, Jordan with his 42, along with 12 rebounds, 9 assists. A triple-double for Scottie Pippen, 16 points, 12 assists, 12 rebounds, 24 points for Horace Grant on 10 of 13 shooting. Charles Barkley led the Suns with 42, along with 13 rebounds. Danny Ainge at 19. Final score once again. The Bulls 111, the Suns 108. It's a 2-0 lead in the best of 7 for Chicago. Join us Sunday night in the Windy City, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be Game 3 of the NBA Final Series. That's Sunday night, starting at 7 in the East. Tonight, following your late